I made over $20,000 in December, even though Amazon threw a few curveballs, adding 20% tax, my ads getting paused, and my hardcover sales were basically non-existent. But despite all of that, I crushed Q4 and I broke my personal record. If you want to know what worked, what didn't, and why you probably won't succeed in 2025, keep watching. Well guys, I'm obviously very delighted to say that I hit $20,000 in royalties. I wasn't sure if I was going to beat last December's best month ever, which was close to $17,000, but I did it. 20K is a huge figure that once upon a time I never thought I would earn in total from this business, let alone in 1 month. So this is a very proud moment for me. I managed to hit other milestones as well, such as hitting $1,000 in a day for the first time. I actually hit this 5 times in December, which is crazy. I had 4 $1,000 plus days in a row as well. As expected, sales dropped off around the 23rd, and of course, I will admit that it's hard to watch your royalties drop by a large amount. But you know what they say, good things don't last forever. So this next bit may blow your mind, because it blew mine. For the longest time, I've been telling people not to focus on the number of books that I have published. You can see here that it says 1,666 books published. Now, I normally say to people that I've unpublished around half of this number of books over the years due to the first year or so of my books being not up to the standard I'm at now, or just being books that are out of date, such as 2020 planners, 2022 planners, etc. However, the other day, I checked the real number of books that are actually live on Amazon, and I was shocked. The number of books I have live on Amazon now is 293. So I've been wrongly telling people that I have around 800 books published, as that's about half. You can see that I've set the filter to live, and there's 10 books per page and only 29 pages, and there are 3 books on the final page. This proves even more that you don't need 1,000 books to make sales. Just make sure your books are quality and are desirable. Don't get me wrong, 293 books is still a lot, but I have been publishing since 2019. And by the way, these are low and medium content books, not high content books. If we look at my top 10 best-selling books for December, you can see that even with 10 books, you can make a substantial income. These 10 books were a mixture of coloring books, activity books, journals, logbooks, and planners. The funny thing about this is my best-selling book is a simple line journal. I created this book over a year ago during Q4, and it sold quite well straight away back then. This year, it took off and brought in $6,511 in December alone. There is another lesson here about patience and allowing time for books to gain reviews and rise through the Amazon rankings. A quote that I often use is the day you plant the seed is not the day that you eat the fruit. The books that are in second and third position are from my new coloring and activity book brand, which of course I'm thrilled about. Between them, these 2 books have picked up over 25 5-star reviews throughout Q4. Obviously, this will only help to make these books seem more desirable to shoppers. This will help to bring in more sales and help with my ad conversions. I spoke about this in my How to Crush Q4 video. I call this riding the Q4 wave. Because there is a huge volume of Amazon shoppers during Q4, I run ads aggressively in order to gain a lot more sales in a short space of time. More sales means the better my books are placed on Amazon. With all of these sales, I gain a lot of reviews, which helps my books to sell better throughout the following year. Hence why I call it riding the Q4 wave. I had a bestseller badge on at least 8 of my books during Q4, which proves how well they were selling. Even my newly published books were selling well. These new books may follow in the same footsteps as my best-selling book did this December. Since 2019, I have found strategies that work. As you can see from my lifetime royalties, they have grown each year as I publish more books and put these strategies to work. People worry about this business being saturated and that more people are flooding it each year. Bear in mind, when I first started in 2019, people were saying the same thing. They were saying it was saturated back then. With every year that you see on this chart, more people found out about this business, along with new tools coming out and artificial intelligence to make it easier than ever to create a book. But you can clearly see that my royalties have increased throughout all of this assumed saturation. So do not believe when people say that there is no money to be made in this business. You will beat most people with hard work, strategy, being able to adapt, and staying consistent. Now, moving on to my hardcover sales. I only earned $165 from them. This is less than 1% of my December royalties, which isn't that great. My hardcover books are pretty much dead in the water now. They used to bring me in about 7 to 10% of my total royalties each month, but since KDP increased the printing costs, my hardcover sales have suffered. And the biggest blow is now they've added 20% tax on top of books in the UK. So these already costly books are even more expensive now. So that's a real shame, but as I said before, in this business, we must constantly adapt. Now moving on to the challenges I faced this Q4, because it's not all sunshine and roses. As I just said, 20% tax has been added to my books in the UK marketplace. I would say that around 70% of my books are sold in the UK, so that is going to hit me really hard. I thought it would really affect my royalties this December, but obviously it didn't. I had to make a choice on whether I wanted to increase my list prices by 20% and potentially get less sales, or take the hit on my royalties and potentially sell more books. I chose the second option just for Q4, but now Q4 is over, I may raise my prices by 20%, which will in turn increase my royalties. If you're thinking about taking the hit on your royalties in the UK like I did, bear in mind that if you are running ads, it will be harder to stay profitable. Luckily for me, I've been running ads for over 5 years now and have a great understanding of how to optimize my campaigns to get them to do what I want, most of the time. Amazon ads is arguably the hardest part of self-publishing to master. So if you're already struggling to keep your ads under control, I would advise against decreasing your royalties in order to sell more books whilst you are running ads. This could be a waste of a lot of money. The next challenge I faced is, as I just said, my hardcover books are basically dead in the UK. Also, Amazon decided to randomly pause my ad accounts for 3 days at the beginning of December. I still don't know why, just some sort of a mistake. This obviously harmed the sales and rankings of my books, which is not ideal during the busiest month of the year. But the same thing happened to me last December. There was a payment issue with my bank, even though the funds were in there. What I've come to realize is that something will always go wrong during Q4. Last year's Q4, I received a lot of bad reviews due to printing quality by Amazon. Luckily, this Q4, they did a better job with that. And this Q4, I maybe had 1 or 2 bad reviews due to this. So I'm grateful for that. If you are enjoying this video, please drop me a like and consider subscribing to my channel. Expenses. Here are the usual suspects. I spent $3,758 on ads, which may seem crazy, but these are profits that have been rolled over. I wasn't planning on spending this much on ads for December, but my campaigns were performing really well to my surprise. My ACOS was really low, even factoring in the 20% tax situation. Because of this, I was happy to spend as much as I could. I made a real effort to monitor my ads daily just to keep on top of things and to avoid campaigns easily overspending. From this point on, my ad spend will decrease drastically. I would ideally like to be under $1,500 per month until next Q4, but we'll see how that goes. So after all of my expenses have been taken out, I'm left with $16,238, which is incredible. Now we're going to move on to something that a lot of people won't want to hear, but for the people that actually listen to this, it may help you. This is why most people won't succeed in 2025. In my KDP Secrets Facebook group, we've got over 44,000 members. Throughout the years, I have seen the average self-publishing lifespan of people. It goes a little something like this. They come into the group all excited, motivated, and ready to get started. They give it a try for roughly 3 to 6 months, and then they call it quits. I know this because these people come into the group and ask a lot of questions, which is great. Nothing wrong with that. But obviously I interact with them, I come to know their names, I answer their questions, and sometimes build a nice rapport with them. But then after so many months, they express their disappointment in making no sales, or they just fade out from the group and I never hear from them again. This is just human nature. It is the same with fitness. Most people start out with the intention of getting into shape, and then after a few months, the motivation fades and they go back to how they were. I literally saw this today. I went to the gym and it was absolutely heaving. I couldn't even do my workout exactly how I wanted because there was somebody on every single piece of equipment. There was even men training their legs, which doesn't happen very often. I expected the gym to be busy because it happens every year. The new year begins and we all have this desire to be better. The same thing is happening with my Facebook group at the moment. I'm getting an influx of new members, probably because they're inspired by other people's Q4 results, or they just want to earn more money this year. At the start of the year, we get motivated, we get inspired, which is great, but most people don't have what it takes to succeed. They don't have the discipline to do something hard continuously for years. They don't want to sacrifice their time or things that are more enjoyable than working on a side hustle or getting fit. If this sounds like a behavioral pattern that you always follow, then speaking honestly, what is going to be different about this year? If you're going to change this pattern, you will need more than good intentions. You will need a plan, some goals, you will need to hold yourself accountable, you will need to assess where you're wasting time on things that are not improving your life. Watching Netflix for 2, 3, 4 hours a night is great, but it's not going to help you succeed in this business. I had to give up all of these wasteful things more so in the first couple of years. I stopped watching my football team and other sports. I stopped watching hours of TV. I stopped going out on nights out with my friends and drinking alcohol and being hungover the next day, and many other things that most people enjoy. As I have seen success, I am able to allow a few more of these things back into my life, but I still limit them massively compared to most people. This is the way that my brain is wired now. I assess everything that takes up my time, and I ask myself, is this going to benefit my future in some way? If not, I may not do it. And that is what you need to do as well. So if you want this business to work, jump in with both feet and really put your all into it. Because as you can see, this business does work. People want things put on a plate for them these days. The last video I made, which was about time management, was one of my least viewed videos ever. In my opinion, this video was super helpful and is an insight into how I manage my time in order to see success in a lot of areas. It is a video that will actually help you. But not many people wanted to watch that video. Yet I know that this income report video will probably be one of my most viewed videos because people see the large figure and will be intrigued. But as for learning the strategies and processes that got me here, most will not be interested, especially if it requires some resistance or sacrifice from them. I would actually love to create a video in the future about KDP's hottest niches, just as a test to see how many views I get. I have never done a video like that because I don't think that it will benefit you, but I know from other channels that these types of videos get the most views. Why? Because most people want niches given to them on a plate. They don't want to do the work finding them or learn niche research strategies. So with all that being said, if you want to make this business work in 2025, you will need a lot more than good intentions and motivation. Motivation always fades. Then what are you going to do? If you are genuinely ready to commit to this business, you can follow my self-publishing blueprint, which shows you how to make a long-term income from publishing books. I share all of my tips, tricks, strategies, and insights on how to do every single part of the publishing process. In November's income report video, I spoke about one of my students, Matteo. He earned 2,000 euros in November, and in that video, I said that he would earn a lot more in December. This is what he earned in his first December on Amazon KDP, over 6,000 euros. That is over $6,000. I am extremely happy for him, but this is not just down to my strategies. He has worked very hard every day to achieve this. He's made sacrifices to earn this much in a short space of time, and he's reaping the rewards now. I'm sure 2025 will be even better for him as he continues to work hard, reinvest his money back into the business, and apply the strategies that he's learned. Can you imagine seeing royalties like Matteo has seen? What would that do for your life or your families? Since COVID, the cost of living has gone through the roof. So adding another income stream will obviously help that burden. Whether it's to pay off your credit cards, pay off a few household bills, or even treat your family to a holiday. Any of these things would improve your life. So why not jump into this business with both feet? Looking ahead for 2025 personally. For 2025, because of the tax being added to the UK marketplace, I may have to switch where I spend the bulk of my advertising. Currently, I spend around 70% of my ad budget on the UK marketplace. So going forward, I will try to rebalance those between the two marketplaces or even tip the scales in favor of the US. I plan to put more effort into building different brands. Obviously, I've documented my latest coloring book brand from the beginning, but I do have other brands that I could put more effort into as well. These are brands that I've had for a while, but I've put them to the side as I focused on other business ventures. I could create more books for these brands and try harder on social media, etc. Now, I'm going to be really honest with you here. 2024 was one of the most stressful years I've ever had. My businesses have grown a lot, which is fantastic, but with more money comes more problems and decisions. At the start of 2024, I decided to create the self-publishing success strategy, which reveals how I do every single step of the self-publishing process and all of the secrets behind them. But creating that course nearly broke me. I have been working hard for the last 5 years, but I truly experienced burnout while creating that course. The course took me a good 6 months to create while juggling a heap of other things. Being a dad, work, managing my Facebook groups, Etsy, my own KDP account, and more. I wanted this course to be great, and I like to put my all into everything I do, but this requires more time. So in creating 85 detailed videos for this course, it truly wiped me out. Now, I'm extremely proud of the finished product, and it's helped a lot of people like Matteo, who I mentioned a moment ago, but it really took it out of me mentally. Anyway, after the course launched in July, I was able to take my foot off the gas a little bit, but then I went straight into preparing for Q4. So the hard work never really stopped, and I never really got a true break. Why am I telling you this? Well, I told myself that for 2025, I won't put a ton of pressure on myself. I cannot work myself as hard as I did in 2024. So I don't want to promise too much in what I plan to do going forward. I don't want to promise that I'm going to create another course this year. I don't want to suggest that I will be creating more YouTube videos. Of course, I would love to, but it all depends how I'm feeling. I also have a constant internal battle going on where I tell myself I'm going to take it easy, but then the part of me that is driven and wants to be productive will talk myself out of it. So that's pretty fun to deal with. I'm not sure what will happen in 2025, but I do know that I won't be putting deadlines on anything. Deadlines are great, especially if you're trying to build long-term habits and success, but they create pressure, sometimes unnecessary pressure. I'm being transparent with you here because it's important to not only speak about the highs, but also the lows. Of course, I'm extremely grateful for this opportunity that I have and the results that I'm seeing. I know a lot of people would cut off their foot to be in the position that I'm in. I don't take that for granted, but burnout is real and mental exhaustion is, in my opinion, harder than physical exhaustion. So 2025 will be a lot more relaxed for me with lots more family experiences. I'm very much looking forward to that, and self-publishing has provided me with the funds to create those family memories, and I will never forget that. We will all be at different stages in our lives. For some of you, 2025 may be the time to work your arse off in order to create a better future for you or your family. It may be a year with lots of sacrifices, or it may be a year to enjoy what you've worked so hard for. Whatever you need to do, I wish you the best of luck for 2025. Take care.